Hey, yo, yo, yo.
Welcome to Loop Sessions Masterclass. I am Magnanimous. This is an Artbeat Montreal and Ausgang Plaza presentation with the support of Canada Arts Council. Today, we have the pleasure to have with us the one and only SHASH'U. How's it going, Shash? There we go. Ambiance.
I'm great. And yourself?
I'm doing good.
Nice.
Pleasure to have you. Thank
Yeah.
you for being on this side of the camera because, and thank you for helping us put together this project. You've been helping us with the production, with the visual aspects. So it's cool to have you on this side of the table,
Yes,
sharing
sir.
what you do in front of the camera.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So we're going to start from the beginning. Easy questions, simple questions, but important questions. How did you get into music production? What was your first interaction, first encounter with the craft, the tools?
First started using like apps on Windows, like Hammerhead and stuff like that, to make my own kind of patterns. That was the first time I touched like the idea of like making beats or using a computer to create a sequence, you know. So
Around what year was it? What era?
like
What decade?
secondaire. Like
hear you.
I remember my bro lent me like his CD of like for an app called PC DJ, but I could never get it to run on my computer. But it's like, yeah, ouais, tu peux faire des beats avec ça. Yo, shout out to Raph et Mim, and but yeah, so Hammerhead, that was the thing, and then I jumped into FL Studio. Back then it was called Fruity Loops. I was on Fruity Loops 3.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was like, I don't know, it was like before 2000s for sure.
For sure, yeah. On t'a introduit as SHASH'U, but you're a man of many hats. You do many things. DJ, producer, sound designer, visual creator. Did you start getting into music production before DJing?
Well, I actually I was always into drawing before anything as a young kid, and then music kind of became its thing later on, age of 9, playing drums, school band.
Okay.
Yeah, so ça a commencé de là. And also, like, my dad plays classical guitar, so
music was in the family.
yeah, pretty much. Mais in the beginning, a lot of drawing. Like, my parents were like, oh, tu vas être architecte, you know, the classic.
Okay. So
Classic
drawing first.
equation for the little Haitian boy.
Drawing first, so that explains the whole which
full
we're gonna
circle.
get to into it later.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So then drawing, music was around, drums,
Yeah.
and then when did you get into DJing?
Like maybe 2001.
Okay,
2000.
so not long after.
For sure, experimenting with different like apps like Mix Vibes and stuff like that, or Atomix MP3 and stuff.
Tu comprends? Moi, t'as dit Mix Vibes, man. Mon premier setup, c'était une espèce de you know, Frankenstein, the Mix Vibes setup, DVS,
Connective
mais
later on. Virtual DJ. Yo, j'ai commencé à mixer dans les clubs avec Virtual DJ puis des tables tournantes American Audio. Puis yo, ça fait la job. It still work. I think whoever has them right now, because I sold them, I'm sure they still work.
I mean, it's interesting because in those days, whatever you could get your hands on at that age, with you know the budget was like if I can play, it's we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, totally. And tu sais comme c'était plus facile de se faire amadouer par des brands de compagnie de ça, que genre on sent le peer pressure de en tant qu'artiste de comme oh si tu get pas cette gear là you're a loser. It's like I grew up on that shit, you know, I grew up on that type of vibe, so it's interesting to ça arrive encore jusqu'à présent aujourd'hui, puis je suis comme yo vous êtes premièrement pas correct, puis deuxièmement, pas rapport.
Bon, ça nous amène à des sujets. On rentre dans le.
Des gros Dog Wars, là, yo, c'est pas nécessaire, G.
Ça nous amène dans un. C'est ça. Donc, ce que tu mentionnes, c'est qu'il y a eu, et il y a encore, une espèce de mentalité que c'est le gear qui fait l'artiste et
Ouais.
du gear shaming ou une certaine. Et c'est un peu à double tranchant parce qu'il y a aussi l'aspect de honorer et préserver l'historique et l'histoire de comment une culture ou un craft s'est développé. Comment dire, d'après toi, c'est quoi la mentalité qui est la plus propice au développement par rapport à la relation entre l'artiste et les outils ou l'équipement?
Ouais. So, c'est... faut toujours avoir l'esprit ouvert et être à l'affût de, comme... Moi, c'est ça que j'ai fait. Moi, I went back in time. Back into, like, using tools or trying tools that was used in the beginning in the conception of the whole culture of hip-hop itself. I have a whole story about that.
Version abrégée?
Okay, so version abrégée, do a session with Rough Sounds. And then suddenly, I don't know, I was trying to plug something and I accidentally unplugged whatever. It shut down my whole computer. Computer was shot. And then so maybe a month and a half, no ways to make music the way I would normally do it. So I like pulled out my Juno G. My Juno G is like a rolling keyboard that has a built-in sequencer inside. So I would like make beats inside of that. And actually it was the first, like one of the early synths that I bought in 2006 or 7, something like that, the Juno G. And then at the same time, BBC had released like a exclusive interview about Jay Dilla and Slum Village, and they were playing some early tapes that I've never heard before. And they were in their like the whole dialogue was about like, you know, Jay Dilla's production, the MPC and everything. And me coming back from Poland, my computer breaking down, listening to the interview and listening to those tapes, that really messed up my mind in a very particular way. And it made me want to like just keep on going back in time to find these hidden gems. Because if I felt the way that I felt listening to something that's from Detroit, like I've been to Detroit only once, you know, it made me feel that a certain type of way. I'm like, I need to find that same thing within myself that I can produce in my own way that makes me, you know. So that's why I kind of like started doing time machine channels in my sessions where like I could just feed anything into it and it automatically feels like it's coming from my VHS and shit like that. So, en tout cas, jumping hoops, but you get the idea.
Yeah, for sure. That's you know, it answers really well what we were talking about in the sense that, you know, it was a non-self-imposed restriction, but because of the restriction, you were maybe more receptive to get inspired by certain things like the interview and the old tape, the Dilla tapes.
Yeah.
But it you know, made you feel a certain way about going back in time in terms of gear, and it's not so much how new the gear is or how, you know, like how advanced the technology is. It's more like, how can it make me translate my musical ideas? And also, like, obviously, gear has a sonic quality to it, depending on, you know, when it was made, by who it was. What year was that in, that whole Poland trip, and when was that?
2011 or 12.
It's important year, 2011.
Yeah, and 2010 gotten fired from Ital Melody.
Oh, wow.
That was 2010.
And you know what? I got fired from Archambault.
Hey, fire gang! Depuis, my focus has always been music and producing, composing, DJing. Never had it like a 9 to 5 since then. I was already mixing at Jello Bar. I was already at Abreuvoir. I was already doing other shit at the same time. So
I mean, hey, you pushed in the direction that you felt, you know, most motivated and inspired to do, and that's a blessing. There's obviously like downsides and struggles to all of this, but overall, yeah, of course. Now you're also a dancer,
right?
I can ask many questions. I can go about it in many different angles, but how and when did you get into dancing as on a personal level?
I mean, I was always dancing at a young age, you know, whether it be because of watching like movies like Breakin' or Beat Street, or my cousins coming with records, and inside the records they would have like these big posters of how to break, and they show the steps and stuff like that. And my cousin Gates, he would say like, "Don't try the head spin. Never try the head spin." Wanting to be part of the community
Exactly.
of it.
Street dance community, getting involved.
That's later, like 2001. Drawing, producing, street dancing, and then DJing.
The fact that you were involved in the dance community and production before you started DJing informed a lot of how you're DJing, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I was still experimenting my compositions. It was already prone to be like played in the idea of a playlist, or played in the idea of like a setting of a moment, you know, of a period, or celebrating a period. And in this case, it would be like just people practicing and owning their skills. For me, that's, you know, it's people are passionate about it, and I think it's important to respect that, you know, by delivering something that creates that impact, unlocks possibilities in their own minds to like come up with these fresh moves and stuff like that. That's how I feel about it. You know?
Definitely, and dance community, street dance, but dancing in general has more so than other crafts of hip hop upheld and preserved the communion through battles. Mm-hmm. Now, not just battles, you know, just get downs and ciphers and battles, but there's a lot of, you know, like it's very well structured, and there's a certain sense of communion between dancers, communities, sometimes cross genre, cross style. And I feel that this is something that's been also kept in MCing and DJing as well.
Yeah.
Now, with beat making, there are beat battles, but I feel like, you know, dancing is done in front of or with people. MCing is done in front of people. DJing is done in front of people. Beat making is more like it could be done with people, but it's not on a mass scale. Like most people don't make beats on stage or in front of crowds. It's more of a secluded type of craft compared to the others.
Yeah.
And does that affect the way that the community is different in the beat making community?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like because of the tools that we have, it's pretty much the algorithms of the social networks that are leading and dictating stat or something. It's unfortunate because it would be dope if it was more embedded in the culture. It'd be dope to be like, yo, mais t'as entendu parler de cette fille-là? Yo, ses productions, c'est trop badass. Elle a battle Intel dans un parc ou whatever, puis c'était trop dope. Like, I don't get how come people can be playing Pokemon Go and not be able to fucking want to walk down another neighborhood. Yo, Intel, je te battle right
beat
now.
battle.
Yo, I'd be so down.
Street corner cypher, but with beats.
Yo, arrête là. C'est trop bien. Là. It's not just about like, oh, who's the best or who's like number one and who's number two, who's number three. It's more about the commune, like la connexion, les deux manières de penser, two different ways of thinking that joins together for a brief moment, you know, and just share ideas about similar themes, you know. I think it's cool to like highlight all the facets of it, you know, and not just leave battling or because people are afraid of confrontation or they're afraid of losing clout or something. I'm like, there's so much room. There's room for everyone. Like, on devrait pas avoir un problème de collab entre nous.
C'est vrai, c'est vrai.
Peu importe comment on le présente, que ce soit un versus, puis
friendly competition.
Ouais,
friendly competition.
Yo, c'est excellent.
C'est toujours sous-entendu, tu sais, with what we're doing with Loop Sessions and Artbeat, we've made it a point to not produce like label the battles, you know, label it as a battle and announce a winner and a loser. But there's always competition, friendly competition. There's like people want to outdo themselves, people want to outdo others, even if it's unsaid, even if it's for right reasons or for wrong reasons. It's something that's present,
right?
Even when it's not presented as a battle. And obviously with battles, there's, you present a winner and a loser. Sometimes there's like, judging calls that are sort of like, people are like, ah, non, t'aurais pas dû, il lui aurait dû. Mais ultimately, I see a lot there's a certain etiquette in battling, to be a good sport about it, to do it for the communion, to do it to grow. Like if you outperform someone, hopefully they might have learned something because you won over them. They should be learning something, a technique, or they'll be like, oh wow, he outdid me.
We're representing different tribes, So like, you're gonna tell me you're just gonna stay in your own tribe with your own peeps on your own side and want to level up that way? That's fine, but I think having that justement the jointing of that's what happened to hip hop in the first place in New York. Like the different boroughs wanting to challenge and showcase. I mean, New York has its own ways, definitely, because it has its own demo and territory and history. Mais nous autres, Montréal, Pleasantville, là, comme on est encore en train de développer ce qui est la culture hip-hop. Là. And il est encore très fucking tôt de vouloir délaisser ce côté-là de gens, justement, la communion des différents cercles de création. Là. Arrête, là.
Absolument.
C'est tellement important. Là. C'est pour les kids là, qui vont être là, puis ils vont voir ça comme... Genre, ils vont juste voir ça à travers des plateformes sociaux. Like, come on, bro. Like,
I feel you,
c'est
man.
pas toutes les plateformes qui vont te donner toute la vérité, là. There's some stuff that need to be experienced, like, right now, in front type of thing, là. Il n'y a plus vraiment de comme ça. Yo, t'as entendu durant la récréation et tel? Non, il y a pas de ça, là.
Ouais.
How do we, like, push that again? By creating more ways to, like, commune together. So, chapeau à Loop Session, chapeau à Artbeat, man.
Le but ultime, c'était le rassemblement, tu sais, c'est ça. And I feel like you were saying different tribes. Like, I felt that moment is when different tribes came together, different crews that wouldn't have necessarily interacted in real life, maybe online, but a lot of crews were crossing paths just off the strength of being at the same function, which ended up creating links and through like people, which for sure you can create links online, but then it's not the same. It's not the same thing, and I think that anytime those different crews gather, only good can come from it.
Yeah,
it's stronger.
We're all repping the same thing that's been enough times marginalized because of its nature, It's unfortunate. We're all together for the same reasons. Like, we should be fucking multiplying by 10,
I hear you.
That's how I feel about it.
So yeah, community aspect is something that is, I know, to you very dear, to me very dear, to us, Artbeat, Loop Sessions, human interaction in a way that is not letting technology use us. Like it's...
Use us. Are you okay? I'm totally okay. I am fine.
OS update crash. Loop Sessions Masterclass. We're exchanging, we're talking, we're diving into the mind of SHASH'U. But also, he's prepared something to present, to break down, to show us how SHASH'U works. This is one of the many ways that he works, and we'll talk about it. Because you've, throughout time, obviously, used different tools and developed different methods, some of them being more based on live creation, live performance, using tools in real time. What did you bring today? What are you showing us?
I brought my desktop. I have this track called Versus Les Twins off my Battle Anthems 2.
Cool track.
Thanks. It's a compilation that I made kind of like to amp street dancers. It's like their playlist to like capture these moments in these tracks. So this one is called Versus Les Twins because I wanted a track so that dancers can play and feel like they're dancing against the twins.
Okay.
So not everybody has the opportunity, and there's a lot of people who would wish they had that. So I'm trying to give them at least like a portal, a sonic portal that they can like, dive in and imagine just by the name of the title, the vibe of it too. So let me just play it. Now I'm running off this computer. It's a great computer. It has some age, but So, audio dropouts. Let's normalize audio dropouts, please. All right? Enough times people are like spec shaming. I'm not down with that stuff. So just bear with me. If it happens, it's totally natural because I'm using a lot of stuff. So let's go. It's a whole map. So basically there's a whole bunch of different parts. I have a little bit of MIDI, but mostly recordings. A lot of waves that I added to complete the track. So let me put it back.
I was gonna say it's interesting if you work more with audio than MIDI.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time I was all about everything connected, anything modifiable right now. Mais après ça, j'ai juste drop. I felt like just consolidating makes more sense. Just once it's recorded in a wave, you're like, well, that's the die I chose. That's
for sure. If you're committing to something and it's like, in a way, your recordings are coming from somewhere, which is either an instrument, your DJ 808, your synths, your samplers. So it's involves the manipulation of something else. Get back into it.
Let's see now, this part, it's interesting because I had done this breakdown and I wanted that type of pace also because it's a pace that I haven't explored yet, but that kind of has a cool futuristic feel to it, like that part. But I try to use components from the first section, obviously, so that it kind of, makes sense with the flow. But I use the same fill, kind of the same fill from the intro.
So I know you're heavy into sound design.
Yeah.
Do you have over time have you curated and developed the SHASH'U bundle, the SHASH'U pack? Do you work off of your own accumulation of drums that you go back to every time, or do you more dig and freestyle what you're working with on the spot?
Both. Depends what I'm looking for. Sometimes I could grab one of my own production and rip a tone or a sound from it. I don't know, I could do something.
Because I can recognize some SHASH'U drums over different tracks. There's some drums you go back to. I don't know if you have a go-to pack that or
I have drums. I did set up kind of a template of drums for a power funk type of setup. I used it on. I think I first created it on Montreal, which is on the Power Funk project that I released with Fool's Gold.
I was going to get into it. Tell people what Power Funk is, because that's one of the many musical facets of what you do. I know you do stuff that sounds more like old school hip hop. Mm-hmm. You do crump music. You do, you have a wide variety of textures and sounds and rhythms. Obviously, some people might know you for one more than the other. And Power Funk is definitely one of those that is a SHASH'U staple.
Yes, sir. So let me pop something here.
Later on, I'm going to ask you about the tags.
Yeah.
There's the SHASH'U series of tags.
Okay, so the tag happened. I know I have it somewhere, but let me just.
There's a few that come back throughout the years.
Yeah, I have this list of. Keep them gade la. Excusez-moi. Quittez-moi. Bon.
SHASH'U is his name.
Okay, SHASH'U is his name. Classic. With that sound, I've always wondered what that sound is.
SHASH'U.
Espèce de...
Is it loud enough? Let me play it again.
SHASH'U.
So that sound is actually my Insonic SQ1.
Okay.
When I turn it on, it makes a sound, and when I shut it off, it makes another sound.
And you put, like, you processed that sound.
I just recorded it and fed it into like
Reverb.
a reverb, and that's it.
Wow, that's what that sound is?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, so when
Amazing, because every time I hear that sound, even if the vocals weren't there, it's like I know the SHASH'U sound.
Yeah, beat...
Shout out to SHASH'U, work that shit.
Yes, Artbeat 2, 2011. Honestly, that's one of the rare, if not the only SHASH'U SP404 set that I've seen.
Yeah.
And it was, man, you killed that set. Like that SP404. And man, that's amazing. So the classic, the beats that got you. It's got to be SHASH'U. That's your voice.
Yeah.
SHASH'U.
That's the original clip, and then...
It's gotta be SHASH'U.
I'm looking for it. There's so many.
The street's been wanting to know. Now they'll get the...
Yes. The beats that got you. It's gotta be SHASH'U. Turn it up. Let's go.
Did you know that there's a guy who actually pretended to be me and got booked for a battle in France or something?
Absurdity.
Yeah, I know. Le jour que quelqu'un t'imite,
You're doing something right. It's
Bro.
messed up, but it's a sign that you're doing something right.
and it's like, there's nothing more to learn, kids. There's nothing more to learn. So Spaz is a track that I made like a long
Some
time
time
ago. And
So Spaz, officially, you hadn't released it until the Jote.
until like battle anthems too. Because it's a track that's been like kind of, I have a lot of leaked bootlegs on YouTube, racking a lot of numbers, not even going back to me type of thing, but in different ways, but not in the proper legit way. So I figured, why not start with one of the early joints, the popular joint for poppers and lockers. It's actually two things. Popping and locking is two things. It's contraction of the muscles on a rhythm following certain dance steps that are actually social dance steps. Locking is another one too, where you have the locks, the points, the wrist rolls. My street dance that I started with was locking. My teacher is Tash. Yeah, she's amazing. Amazing.
Each style of street dance has definitely a rich history of socio-political meaning and purpose attached to it.
That's why the ones who do have that, they're the ones who stay. Any dance style that's made while you're high or something doesn't really have a lot of longevity because it has no social stance. It's just...
Ça marche? Ça se passe ou quoi?
The beats that got you. It's gotta be SHASH'U. Turn it up. Let's go.
Le son du N-Sonic, la goutte d'eau digitale, des fois tu l'utilises dans les beats là, tout seul, right? Sans détail.
Sometimes, yeah. So like, sometimes it would be like the tag was there, but I just removed my name. Sometimes I'm like, I can't hear my name too, so I just leave the blast. So one of the early synths I use, this one is like a free. I think, the GTG. C'est tellement vieux, ça, là. C'est comme un peu dinky, mais c'est le fun, tu sais. A lot of the funk that I enjoyed had this in the equation. So this is like a rendition of it. Mais tu sais, ils appellent ça les Oddity, mais c'est les Odyssey.
Oui, OK.
I know Corey just re-released it. Bref.
Classic synths.
Ouais, super fun, bien simple, genre comme 2 oscillateurs, mais vraiment, en tout cas, bien simple.
But you also, I know you have a few go-to hardware synths.
I didn't bring...
Lead.
Ouais, Nord Lead 2X, c'était vraiment one of the pieces that made a big difference in my production. Yeah, I love it. It's super fun. So like I can mix 4 layers. Each has 2 oscillators, FM if I want. I can add envelope or modulation on the FM to create different type of vibes. So really morph different levels. The arpeggiator is fun too.
There we go.
I usually use a plugin called BPM to drop my drums in. And see, Spaz is actually one of these early beats where I used FPC. So I would use this to drop my drums in. And I love DMX and Lin drum more than, like, in certain degrees, more than the 808. Mais reste pas au 808 pour le low-ends. Yeah, okay, cool. Mais, I mean...
Drum tracks?
Ouais, c'est ça. Mais pour ça, là, of Prince, he would use a lot of these sounds, and I'm like, he had the freshest production too. So, Busta clap. I don't know which Busta.
So
Lin was his
Lin drum.
Yeah, and I would pitch him down, and that's fun. So that's what I would use for this.
Shout out to you, shout out to Sef D, shout out to Kenlo,
Lunas.
and a bunch of like, Lunas I don't know on a personal basis, but it's a lot of people that were around that make amazing music were on FL. I was never on FL personally, but I know that FL works in there's a lot of options, there's a lot of flexibility.
Yeah. So like, these are grayed out, they're actually muted, they're not even played. I don't know what it is, I think it's guitars, like that. Yeah, j'avais tout enregistré.
You told me that you've been collecting old sound banks and patch banks from old synths. How does that fit into the SHASH'U sound?
I'm more of a Roland and Sonic, MU, Kurzweil type of dude. And after maybe like...
C'est des banks de presets puis de sons qui sont dans un format spécifique dans les vieux synths, des formats assez spécifiques.
Let's say you had the image of the CD. You can't just open it in your OS Explorer. It can't read it, so you need a special app that can read those type of images. So what I would do is extract those, and then I would convert them into contact libraries that I could just drag and drop. Here's some example of what it sounds like. C'est ça, puis comme it's found vibe aussi là. And it reminds me of like the old school machines that didn't have enough processing power to do like time stretching.
What?
So I kind of emulate that to play with like, oh, if I'm playing the lower note, it's actually play slower. It's fun.
Oui.
It's like nostalgia.
Time stretching is a privilege.
So like, yeah, totally.
Tu sais, souvent, les producers vont... Tu sais, parce que... Ouais. Then when you find this rare thing that like not a lot of people or no one else is using, it kind of becomes your own in a way.
Yes.
It gives you a unique thing that people will be like, even if they don't realize that, okay, that's a SHASH'U sound like La Goutte d'Eau or whatever, it's still like, it sounds different because it's not everyone's using it and it's not a common sound bank or a common synth.
Ouais, c'est ça. Right here I have the GU06, which is a Roland Boutique synth and MIDI controller. What's cool is that when I use my DJ 808 in shows, I could plug it in directly into the mixer. And so through the USB wire, not only I get power to power it on, but I also get audio and MIDI through, so I can sync the synth. Yeah.
One wire, power, audio, MIDI.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and I could like sync the tempos and stuff like that with the track that I'm playing or whatever other component.
That's super powerful. And it's going to bring me into my next, it's not really a question, but, and so next to it, you have the Roland MC.
Yes, the MC 101, which is this little
amazing little machine.
Here.
And you plug, you have the DJ 808, which is a whole setup that we're going to get into during the presentation as well. You use the DJ 808 with this functionality of having one wire to send audio, MIDI, and power with these tools from Roland, and they integrate in such a way that you can use your DJ 808 as a creative tool.
Yeah.
with Serato, with your DAW, and it's a whole other format or setup for creating that you've been using quite a lot lately, right?
Oh yeah, and I'm enjoying it a lot because Serato is used as a bank of sounds. Whatever that's happening inside of Serato gets fed to the DAW through the audio interface. There's no wires going out, going back in. It's straight from the audio drivers of the DJ808, receiving Serato information, sending it back to the DAW. The DAW can record. I can set my DAW on the same tempo of whatever I'm doing. I record the synth. I can have up to 2 extra hardwares that I can connect in it, and they have to be compatible.
Yeah.
Obviously. It's amazing. So, and I can run Serato effects on top of it all if I want. So I can have, let's say, I can have an artist a cappella and I want to add effects on it, but I don't want to have the hassle of loading, say, the stem and then creating another channel for sends and returns and then automate it. I'd rather just record it right away in Wave or
Do it on the fly. It's
do it on
almost
the
like
fly.
you're manipulating it like an instrument.
You know, comme un chef d'orchestre, one, et composition, one, et c'est ça, là.
T'as actually fait le démo, le unveiling ou le démo vidéo pour le DJ808 avec Roland. C'est quoi
Yeah.
la connexion SHASH'U Roland?
So, yeah, to answer the question. Yeah, cette connexion, c'est arrivé basically à travers Serato. A homie of mine who works there told me like, yo, we're going to release this new thing. I think you're going to really, really dig it. It's going to be amazing, revolutionary. I'm like, okay. And I get it in this big box, DJ controller with built-in sequencer, built-in sounds we can modify, and also extra controls that, how can I say, functions that control directly Serato.
Yeah.
And so I can, you know, use the sequencer, the built-in sequencer provided by Roland to sequence sounds from Serato. So it's really like a crazy collaboration. It's the first time that Roland jumps into the DJ
That's right.
world like
That's right.
comme ça. Et ils ont sorti des affaires auparavant, des petits accents DJ, but not really like...
Accessoires, mais je pense que c'est
Yeah.
la première fois qu'ils ont fait vraiment un fully fledged like DJing system. Like
Yeah,
DJing
exactly.
anything. I don't think Roland ever released a mixer, DJ mixer.
Oh yeah, they have, but like not not something like it was a series or something that they were normally doing, you know. But yeah, totally. DJ808. So what happened is that I was doing the testing for it. They sent me like a unit for testing. I had it for a month. Reported all the mistakes that I can find. Tried everything. You know, they were happy with the results. Serato actually invited me in LA to shoot the demo of the product for the launch. It was a trip, man. Like being flown just to demo a product is crazy. And then later on, we went to Low End Theory. Anniversary was Wu-Tang.
Oh, wow.
Flying Lotus, Monopoly, Gaslamp Killer. That was crazy. And then so I come back. And my boy is like, yeah, so everybody's happy from the results. Even the big heads at Roland Japan, they were really satisfied that they want to invite you for the 909 celebration to do this online streaming demo of the product and like a conversation of what it can do and things like that. So it was really interesting. I only had it like for a short period and I managed to wing it out and
Became the ambassador for the DJ808 early on, sort of.
Yeah, kind of like to keep it, and you know, it's revolutionary. I use it at a studio all the time. Like last week, I was with like some homies at a studio. I just bring my laptop and the controller, and matter of fact, it doesn't have to be a DJ808. You know, like everybody out there who has a DJ controller, you can use that too.
True.
A tractor or record box and grab its output, feed it back into your DAW. And then just record whatever that you're doing. You can even record your DJ sets that way too.
Yeah, for sure. Using it. Well, that's the thing. It's like what I don't see a lot of people doing, and what like I appreciate that you are doing with that is that most people will look at DJ production gear or beat making gear like, okay, I want to make beats. I need a beat making hardware. when it's like, well, you can do certain things with hardware that is not meant for beat making in a way. Like you're using your DJ controller to make beats.
Yeah.
Now, the DJ 808 is a bit different because it has like the section, but you're using it in an entirely different way.
Yeah.
Utilizing the whole thing as a sampler, a drum machine. And so like using gear that wasn't intended to be used a certain way to make it do something extra.
Oh yeah, totally.
Which is really in the spirit of hip hop.
Yes. Yeah,
you know.
totally.
You played one joint at the beginning. I forget. You
just
played for
one
Les
joint.
Twins versus Les Twins.
Yeah.
You played Spaz. You got anything else you want to break down?
One of the things that I've been doing throughout my career is to compose music for street dancers.
Yeah.
For their projects, dance pieces or shows and stuff like that. Competitions also. And I wanted to show one of the compositions I've done for a choreographer called Alex Spicy Nande. And she has a company called Ebb and Flow. It's super fun. The projects are nice and they're well produced, so it really gives me like a full body of work. And the idea of like being a sound designer, composer, sound engineer also. So this is like one of the compositions that I'm currently working on. And yeah, it's abstract in different ways, and sometimes I'd start with tones. And I think some of these samples are like from Splice also. I have a Splice membership. It's useful for like, yeah, it's, I mean like,
Sure.
it's useful for like, I use it a lot for, I had a contract with Air Transat. I was doing Cuban destinations and I had to make the music for that. So like I had some stuff and I have a guitar I can play, but there's certain stuff that c'est juste trop tough. Même si t'as les bons components, it's always better to just find something that sounds great.
Ben oui.
Does the same job. So, de puiser dans une banque de sons qui a été enregistrée adéquatement, actually played by players, makes sense.
Super powerful.
Puis cette banque-là, c'est juste pour donner une suggestion. Parce qu'après ça, le but, c'est de prendre ça et vraiment le travailler pour que ça fonctionne dans la composition. Là. Pas c'est un about drag and drop. Là, comme...
Tell him. So that's interesting.
It's about pushing the ideas, be able to like quickly find something that stimulates the mind. So like using the interface to our advantage, and it's great. Quand c'est utilisé comme ça, c'est bien. Je connais plein de gens qui l'utilisent, mais je connais des gens aussi qui l'utilisent de manière foolish, where they're just going to take one loop, the kick, snare, 808, which is doing the bass line, one loop, and then another loop, which is the melody, and then these two together, like that, and then you say, ouais, j'ai fait un beat, man, ça serait cool qu'on travaille ensemble, puis que moi, je suis capable de taper le nom du fichier, parce que j'ai reçu les stems, taper le nom du fichier, puis genre réaliser que c'est un stem qui vient de Splice, puis les réécouter, damn, it's exactly the same thing. Nothing was changed. And you're telling me, ouais, je produce des tracks? Bro, you are playing Lego.
Wow!
Comme, je ne sais pas, là. C'est pas ça, là.
Mais c'est totalement valide ce que tu dis, man. Parce que, tu sais, c'est pas une question de shame les gens qui le font, mais c'est comme tu as dit, c'est put in extra effort. Laisse-toi, like, get inspired and bring it, push it forward, bring it somewhere else. C'est vraiment ça, tu sais.
Can apply that shit. It just feels way better, you know?
J'allais parler de branding puis de visuals parce que, puis on peut en parler pendant que ça joue. You're someone who has put a lot of effort and a lot of work and pays a lot of attention to your visual identity.
Yeah.
Ton visuel, ton identité visuelle. Puis t'es un artiste visuel aussi. You draw, you create graphics, which you've done for this loop sessions. You've done Montreal of Dilla. We did the earlier this year. But the visual realm of SHASH'U ties in very beautifully with the music. And je sais pas exactement quelle question je te pose, mais autre que parle un peu aux gens de ce que tu fais en termes de visual work. Puis je sais que tu utilises aussi FL Studio pour créer des visual things.
Yeah. Puis j'aime ça être capable de jouer avec ça. Puis du moins, comme créer une base qui peut être servie comme ressource pour quelqu'un d'autre qui a vraiment les skills, tu sais, de prendre ça. Puis I can still do stuff that means something and then share it with somebody who may have the same kind of passionate idea for it. You know,
Totally.
puis ça arrive, tu sais, des fois des gens ils collabent comme ça, tu sais.
Ben oui, ben oui.
So-
Je pense que les gens aussi, quand les gens entendent SHASH'U, tu sais, t'as comme créé un univers avec, tu sais, le logo, les palettes de couleurs, l'univers visuel et l'univers sonore. Même, tu sais, les choses comme les tags, tout ça, il y a comme un univers de SHASH'U que les gens, when you say SHASH'U, people can expect something visually and musically. And I think that's really dope.
Yeah, it's total fun. C'est genre, ça me permet de vraiment pousser, genre, en utilisant des petits tools, comme si je... All right. Z Game Editor Visualizer. So, dans FL Studio, on peut créer des layers visuels, images, sons ou mesh, puis les manipuler et traiter là-dedans. Puis, par la suite, toutes les fonctions ou les attributs des layers. Par la suite, je peux créer des automations de ces fonctions-là, puis les ajouter dans mon playlist ici. And then I can render the output in video, just like a basic MP4 or MOV file. We'll see what happens.
Ninja Boy! Es-tu sorti, Ninja Boy? Je pense pas. Non. OK, on va parler de ça.
Ninja Boy, c'est basically mon Quasimodo à moi, tu sais. I think it's loading.
Coming soon? Ninja Boy project coming soon?
I mean, I have some tracks. I could snip it, but I don't know if that's what you want to hear.
I mean, it's all up to you. C'est toi qui est en contrôle du son puis de l'image en ce moment, man.
Ouais. Ça, c'est actually sur mon SoundCloud.
Puis là, quand tu drops, tu peux matcher comme le visualizer, tu peux l'appliquer à n'importe quelle session dans FL, c'est ça?
Oui. Ninja, ouais.
Ninja Boy, les derniers projets que tu as release, Battle Anthems 2,
Ouais.
Battle Anthems 1, both super dope, street dance oriented projects. Je sais que le Battle Anthems 2, non, actually, qu'est-ce que je dis? Il y avait le Jolt soundtrack. That is the last project you put out.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a very interesting concept. Let the people know a bit of comment t'as formulé le Jolt soundtrack. Puis shout out à Jolt, shout out à Monster Pop.
Ouais. So le Jolt soundtrack, basically what happened, c'est qu'on avait organisé un battle de danse en collaboration avec la compagnie Danse Danse. On a créé une diffusion avec Youp à la salle Sir Wilfrid Pelletier. Basically, j'avais créé la musique pour cet événement-là. Puis, on avait aussi fait un genre d'interview des danseurs. Il y avait 8 danseurs. Puis ça, c'est des danseurs à travers le Canada, là, pas juste à Montréal, qui étaient invités. Just captured, like, snippets of what they would say. Puis j'ai pris ça, puis je les ai mis dans les tracks. Je vais essayer de pogner ça.
Chaque track reflète un des danseurs et il y a des quotes du danseur.
Synth lines are from my Nordlead 2X.
Okay.
So I just literally would like record, like add pieces as I go, record in wave directly, type of thing.
So this is playing off of the session?
This is just like a track.
Okay.
But I can show the.
Would you be down to show the session? What's next for SHASH'U? What's coming up?
So there's different stuff. I've been working on this album for my French audience for a while now, and I have a couple tracks that are already ready. Like I haven't even opened the sessions in a while because I know like I'm already done with them. There's just one more track I'm working on trying to book this session soon to get the writing process over, and so we can move on and set a proper plan.
Fait que c'est un album c'est le SHASH'U Rap Keb album.
Type thing.
Thing.
Well, rap, not the rap kid, more
Rap
like
français.
justement le SHASH'U pop album. Là.
Nice.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
There you
really.
go.
So it's really cool. I'm looking forward to that. That's there. I also have like another EP that during the pandemic I had already prepared. More on the power funk tip.
Nice. Puis tout ça, ça sort sur évidemment Joyride.
Ouais, tu sais, comme mettons le Ninja Boy, pas nécessairement. Tu sais, il y a des trucs, c'est des ébats créatifs, which is
Sure.
totally normal. But then, you know, I still want to use label resources for stuff that I feel like eux autres, ils peuvent regagner là-dedans aussi.
Of course, of
C'est un
course.
travail d'équipe, mais
Of course.
on veut que tout le monde gagne aussi. Là.
So, t'as des releases qui sont indie, t'as des releases avec Joyride, t'as évidemment le Fool's Gold Connection aussi. Power Funk, c'était sorti avec Fool's Gold.
Ouais,
Ouais.
c'est ça. Puis,
Bump it.
ouais, this is like power funk. Power funk.
Je suis down, c'est déjà...
Like the movie.
That sound. Okay. This is like Shash, Miami Vice on a speedboat. T'avais déjà ouvert l'autre session? Yeah, il ouvre plein de sessions en même temps, man. Une chance, t'as le desktop, là. La Lamborghini, man.
This is a fourth generation i7. You know how long? That's like 2012
True.
CPU. Là. Like 4790K. Overclocking at 4.7 gigahertz. It's fun. I mean, it has a cool single core performance, but it's still fourth generation. We're like at
yeah.
12. 11 is now, but
Yeah,
12
true,
is
true.
coming out soon. And
I mean, the
it's like-
Lambo's got some miles, but it's still a Lambo.
It is. It is. It's like a Diablo. So, let's go.
So, cette session-là a l'air bien loadée, là.
Yeah, so we have drums here. These drums are actually going through the BPM plugin I was talking to you about.
Mode to BPM.
Yeah, the reason why I got this is because back when I used to work at Ital Melody, they were selling this pack. It comes with like a lot of gigs of sounds, and the sounds are really legit, and a lot of them are part of like hip hop's history in a way. So you hear sounds that like the Neptunes type of used or other like. C'est Ted Riley avait vraiment push comme he was co-signing
Ah ouais, hein?
this plugging a lot, and I can totally understand why. Tu sais, genre si je joue des
It was Motu's drum machine. I mean, it's the only one they really did like this, right?
Tu sais, des fois, il y a des drums, c'est comme, OK, ça, c'est lean back, tu sais. Ou ça, c'est genre... Oh, ouais. Ça, c'est genre un Just Blazy. Tu sais.
True.
Il y a même des Eric Sermon type of...
Say no more.
Bro. So, like... Yeah, because some I recognize, OK, on va dans le clap. On va aller dans le plus évident. Ça commence, ça frôle le lean back, là. Oh, I hate this clap. C'est le worst clap des années 2000, là. Ça, c'est le chingy.
Tellement.
Pop That Booty. Toutes les B2K. Sounds like
Oh, man.
Ah ouais, ça, c'est les Just Blazy. Oh. I'm a slave.
C'est intéressant de retracer, c'est ça, juste à travers les sons, de
ouais,
retracer les...
Lynn Drum DMX aussi. But Neptunes were using it a lot. Puis ça a quasiment un Mad Lib vibe, tu vois. Mais bref. Ah ouais.
Ouais. Ben ouais.
J Dilla. Simple. La liste continue, tu sais. So, like,
Il avait compilé des sons de classic drum machines, là, basically.
Ça aussi, puis il avait sorti un expansion pack, which is why I was trying to get into before getting lost in the sauce with all these samples.
Is BPM still like a product?
Active?
What?
No, c'est comme, I mean, they don't do regular updates. They don't really
Do
need
they still
to.
sell it?
I think so.
Yeah.
On their website, il faudrait checker.
Sometimes these tools, man, like people think that like because something is discontinued, that it's no longer good enough. But it's like sometimes there's such gems.
Mais oui, arrête là.
Gems, là, tu sais, comme...
Tellement de dopeness là. So yeah, so this they were selling this expansion pack, and they were doing a promotion. Once you buy this, it comes with the expansion pack free. Type
Okay.
of shit. So I copped it for that, and I used all the drums. Basically, they sampled the original drum machines back then, and so j'ai accès à tout ça. Tu sais, j'ai toutes les classiques drum machines, les analogues, puis les digital aussi sounds.
C'est ça que ça c'était la session du Power Funk, Unreleased Power Funk Project que tu viens de nous jouer, là. Le Miami Vice joint, là.
Ouais, so for the Miami Vice, hold on. C'est fini, ok, bon. For the Miami Vice. Oh, ouais. Attends. Ouais, c'est ça. J'avais utilisé d'autres sons aussi de d'autres packs, genre 80s drums. Because I was looking also for the, like, some kind of processed vibe to it.
Ouais.
Que moi, j'étais pas obligé de rajouter, tu sais. Je cherchais à avoir ce process de comme, oh, it sounds like it was grabbed from that time.
Yeah, for sure.
Il y a certaines nuances que j'ai pas besoin d'ajouter, mais après ça, j'ai ajouté Abbey Road's 80s drums on top because I wanted to make the mix of the acoustic and the digital. The acoustic and the electronic together. So, digital aussi. Mais ouais, so. So, like, this for me, it's like natural because I used to play drums and j'ai toujours été into le tuning puis le mixing of things throughout my production. So, I think the reason why my drums sound particular is because I spend time in the mixing environment also.
Yeah, you put some level of focus on tuning the drums.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, tune the song and stuff like that, but
Right.
also like the, how long that I want the hit to last and stuff like that, the release, attack. It all plays in the character of the production, so you can get away with a lot just by knowing how to get to where, you know, in terms of a feeling.
Definitely.
So, quand on marie les deux, so j'ai ce drum-là aussi. To give it like that electronic sheen. And j'ai ça, just a regular thing. Puis ça, c'est le classic. So this was basically these notes, but then I was modulating the like cutoff. I had signed the cutoff on a knob and then record the wave, but then modulate as it's going. So if I was looking for that dip or whatever, I'd just grab it from the region instead of having to go back into like fucking automations.
Yeah, man.
No offense. C'est
No
fun,
offense, but automation,
marche,
you know.
Ça marche, mais les deux fonctionnent, tu sais. Puis le ta-na, ça c'est des bells. C'est un autre stab. Puis j'avais carrément séparé ces deux éléments séparés. And it's interesting that way. And I would use, like, sometimes would use the Serato effects to add more reverb or delay or whatever.
So you're sending out of FL into the DJ 808 and then sending back into FL with the processed Serato effects.
Like, Serato, DJ 808 into FL.
Exactly. Okay.
And then out another audio interface.
So it doesn't feedback loop.
Exactly.
Very important.
Yeah, this part. It's so dope. I use it at the end too. It's like, how's everybody doing?
Definitely an 80s, gros 80s joint.
Before the band switches to the other song that they're... Pas d'autres qui... Oh, they switched. En mode get the picture.
Très chaud.
Is there something in particular you wanted to check out in this?
I mean, you know, we can talk about, you know, all day. So, je pourrais te demander c'est quoi tes plugins de processing que tu utilises, ton master bus a de l'air de quoi, you know, like...
Ben, à date, tu sais, le master bus, souvent, j'ai eu comme un multi-band compresseur généralement, mais avant, je le drivais vraiment beaucoup, mais trop. Mais,
qu'est-ce que tu veux dire, le driver beaucoup dans le sens de...
Comme genre, it's like pumping, tu sais, it's pushing the sound.
So you were pushing the limiter a lot.
Yeah, mais avec le temps, j'ai comme déloussé
Ouais.
pour être capable de créer davantage plus de dynamisme. So create more dynamics, because that's where the music is at.
Definitely.
If it's all squished, then there's no...
Ben, c'est à moins que ça fasse partie de l'esthétique de ça.
But even then, there's levels.
Yeah, for sure.
C'est ça que...
For sure. Like, the loudness war, unfortunately, is still on. Mais c'est moins pire qu'avant.
En même temps, si je faisais quelque chose comme ça, puis je baisse...
That's straight up distortion. That's it, même le era Gorilla Dogs, là, c'était real.
Yeah, the idea was to feel like you're listening to a song or a piece of composition that's like coming from something that...
Exactly.
Genre le boogie que t'as pas pu rentrer, mais t'entends la bass dehors, t'es comme I wish I could be there too.
T'entends les fenêtres qui vibrent, là, tu sais.
Ouais, c'est ça, là, comme yo, moi je serais trop down, là. So, anyway, c'est genre vraiment de créer cette vibe nostalgique, the like music in a space.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So, c'est pour ça que des fois, I would drive a little bit more because it reminds me of the equipment that I used to listen to music through.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Puis c'est contextuel avec tu sais, la chanson ou le projet. Tu sais, if it makes sense. Pour ça, de le faire, to do it, knowing why you're doing it with a purpose is one thing. Puis de le faire comme, tu sais, juste pour booster, c'est une autre affaire, là, tu sais. Mais, fait que ton master boss, t'es moins tannant avec ton master boss, là, ces temps-ci, là.
Ah ouais, c'est ça. Puis je trouve que c'est bien le fun comme when it just pumps just enough, it's great. For my drums, of course, like I said earlier, I like to create like a sub bus. So I'll mix all the elements from the drums, and then I would also send all those sounds into one channel and then
Drum bus.
Yeah, and do some further editing or whatever. Sidechain sometimes, not a lot.
Parallel compression.
Sometimes, rarely. Sometimes. Yeah, for the drums, I do it. Like if I can, sometimes I would try to get the crunch
Ouais.
Without having the full, without losing too much of the dynamics because of it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like you say, parallel to get a good mix.
Saturators, tu mets beaucoup avec des saturators. Je sais que tu avais Saturn tantôt qui était ouvert.
Yeah, Saturn is fun. Like it works directly, but I try not to add too much because.
Ouais. A little goes a long way with saturators.
Yeah, exactly. C'est ça qui est fou.
Yeah.
C'est ça qui est fou. But besides that, yeah, just a proper packaging of these different components. Melody, I often like to have them go through my time machine
Ouais.
channel.
C'est le secret sauce.
Yeah, I mean, it's just me like, okay, so j'ai été fouiller mes vieux baladars and I'm listening to this thing dying, like its battery dying with the tape inside, and I'm listening to it. I'm like, okay, why do I feel this way? What can I do to feel that same way? You know, it got me into listening to a lot of vaporwave music and all that aesthetics also, you know, the lo-fi music.
T'as-tu un go-to?
Hip-hop.
Ben oui. T'as-tu des go-to? Je sais qu'il y a like, les cassette emulation plugins, puis les trucs comme ça qui ont un wow and flutter, puis qui ont du...
Ouais, moi je le faisais séparément. Je faisais un plugin qui s'occupait à faire la modulation de fréquence cut-off, comme un low-pass type of thing.
Okay.
But like in a very randomized type of way. But I just drew like a random sequence.
Ouais,
that it would
ouais.
just kind of loop, but it's kind of random. And so what would happen is that mon cutoff would kind of like shake like that in a random moments. Puis ça varie selon la quantité d'enveloppe que j'ajoute à ça aussi. So ça peut créer encore plus d'effets plus apparents. C'est comme
Ouais.
plus apparent. Puis basically what that would do is like recreate la dégradation d'une cassette.
Ouais.
Because tape, when it degrades, they lose higher frequencies basically. Because those need more content to be captured if you want. So when tapes would lose that, you would just hear like the bass and the mids. So
Ça devient muffled.
ouais, c'est ça. So moi de recréer au moins cet élément-là, il y a ça. Je suis comme OK, il y a ça. Il y a quoi d'autre? Le son qui est assez, qui wah,
La
le
vitesse,
pitch, la
c'est ça.
vitesse qui change. So j'ajoutais un effet wah par-dessus mon son, puis so I would just stack up these little plugins to create this channel. Puis je faisais ça avant qu'il y ait un plugin
c'est ça, avant qu'il y ait des plugins
Ouais.
qui font le...
qui font tout genre sur une seule fenêtre. Tu sais, je le faisais manuellement. Tout ça à cause de ce moment-là quand j'avais mon ordi qui était brisé, puis je pouvais pas produce, puis j'avais entendu l'interview de Dilla avec les old tapes de Slum Village qui ont messed up mon mind. Puis je suis comme, I wanna sound like that.
That's deep, though. That's deep. That like that experience,
C'est un
that
mind-
moment, it informed like in a way everything that came after, and it's
Ouais.
like it's in a way it's something very positive that came out of something negative.
Ouais, totalement. Puis depuis, tu sais, ça m'a permis de créer toutes sortes de shit. Tu sais, j'étais capable de genre adapter, créer un style où est-ce que moi je me sens bien, puis je suis capable d'être à côté de gars comme What's So Not ou ou un high class ou tu sais peu importe puis showcase mon style, mon propre son and still vibrate with whatever that's popping. That's why I was doing these like A$AP Rocky remixes
Yeah.
tu sais autant les Rihanna, autant whatever d'autres, tu sais doing remixes but able to like showcase my style or my aesthetics.
I mean, the SHASH'U remix is a whole chamber on its own.
Ouais, totalement.
That's
It's like a
that's
vault,
a whole
là.
chamber on its own.
Yo, j'ai juste hâte de sortir le vault in a proper way. Là.
Non, mais
c'est comme- c'est
tes
compliqué.
remix, bro, t'es... Ouf!
C'est compliqué. Moi, vraiment, que je fais un move sur SoundCloud, tu sais, je me fais flag.
I know,
Like,
man.
Je suis le mouton noir. Là,
Ben, même dans tes remixes, c'est ça, t'as les Power Funk remix, t'as les Crump remix, t'en as qui sont, tu sais, c'est I think t'as aussi beaucoup... t'as bien utilisé le format du remix pour te promote en tant que producer. Parce que c'est une chose de sortir des beat tapes, c'est une chose de sortir des projets, des trucs signés, label, official, mais les remix, man, tu sais, like... spreading that around with DJs playing them, playing in jams and battles, and you know what the science of the remix is. People already know a popular song, so they react to the fact that they know the song.
Exactly.
But then it's like, then they hear the tag and just beats I got you. It's gotta be Shash. Then ça explose d'une manière que t'attends pas.
Oh my God!
So yeah, definitely, man. T'as bien fait ça, man. Like, les remix, ça...
J'en ai une de Franklin Electric, actually. I don't even know if it's the... Let me get the right one. Sorry. That was a big sigh.
Sorry.
J'ai trouvé le bon, là. I know the feeling. OK, je vais le jouer, là. Je vais jouer celui-là. You'll get the picture.
Yo, joue-le, man. Joue-le.
Even though it's not the final one, but you'll get the picture.
We listen to it. It's good.
The picture is downloading. Dropbox.
What else? T'as eu plusieurs soirées, que t'as organisées en dehors de tes gigs que t'avais à prévoir, etc. T'avais Swish, qui est, je pense, plus que juste une soirée, en fait.
Well, c'est ça. Tu sais, Swish is basically... I mean, it started as a soirée, but I really wanted to be able to create something that can, I don't know, just have that sense of commune, you know? Comme genre, club goers or people who love music know that they can trust the Swish branding for a good time.
Totally.
Et c'est juste ça que j'essaie de comme créer, tu sais. So, c'est ça, comme là, on essaie d'organiser ça là pour...
Ouais.
I mean, we could talk about it, but like...
Soon in a park near you, maybe
yeah,
not.
c'est ça. To bring Swish to in the hood in a way, you know,
for sure.
in a park near you, so that we can bring that vibe back, you know.
Totally.
Why have to always go on Saint Laurent? Like, it's fun, but Montreal is an island. Like, tu vas aux States, puis ça te dérange pas de drive 45 minutes pour aller à un spot ou un boogie. T'es à LA, ça te dérange pas là, de faire le 30 minutes drive to go somewhere, even though it's far away or something. I mean, I think it's proper that we can have the same thing in Montréal.
Yeah.
There is the same thing. Il y a des hubs par-ci par-là dans différents hoods, mais tu sais, most of the stuff happen on the main strip. Puis,
True, that's true.
tu sais, je trouve que let's explore là, comme.
I'm with you, man.
Let's open the gates.
Saint-Laurent, c'est nice, tout ça, downtown, plateau, whatever, like that area. Obviously, is where a lot of stuff happens. Mais c'est comme, ouais, Montreal's an island, and there's a lot of different places to explore, especially with summertime. Outdoors, stuff can be done. Ça devient un peu plus compliqué quand tu parles de spots, les salles de spectacle, les bars, les clubs.
Ouais.
Ça restreint un peu l'affaire, là, mais définitivement, man, les Montréal, il y a des areas que les gens, je pense pas qu'ils réalisent à quel point l'aspect communautaire est très différent d'un area à l'autre. T'sais.
Ouais, exact. Puis, tu sais, surtout si on est là pour les mêmes raisons, et just...
Ouais.
it just makes more sense, you know. And they feel also that they're getting a piece of the city that's close to their balcon, tu sais,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
for
great.
sure, for sure.
I think it's important.
C'est quoi, t'allais bump quelque chose, là?
Ouais.
C'est une session, c'est juste un track?
Juste un track. J'ai la session quelque part, mais basically, ils m'ont envoyé leur session, puis j'ai fait un remix.
OK. C'est qui? C'est quoi, le...
Franklin Electric. Ah, c'est Jean Double, sorry.
Is this out?
No, it's not out. I played in festivals and stuff. But like,
It's one of those SHASH'U in the
Yeah,
hard drive
yeah.
bangers.
because I know their manager, or like both are their manager and my manager. They get along since Bad News Brown actually.
Okay, wow.
So RIP and
Yes.
so yeah, so we were at a festival and they heard my sets and they were like, "Yo, that's cool music." I'm like, "Yo, if you guys are down, I really like your music. Like, send me some. I'd be down to flip your stuff." So these guys are doing completely different music, you know.
Yeah.
And that's my interpretation of how I would use power funk on like a different setting, you know.
Sleep away the days I'm dreaming of a place I wanna go.
Yeah, fun times. So.
Très chaud, man.
Ouais, thanks. Est-ce que j'allais pogner? J'ai joué une tune du power funk, puis j'ai. Ah non, attends. La souris est spéciale aujourd'hui. Strike. The strike, ouais, ça I'm gonna play. This is power funk again for me. It's unreleased. I could show this session too for this one. Le moment de vérité track. So I don't know. I like there's so many things that can be done with this type of music. You know, we could, do visual projects or just release it like that and have music videos for it. But like having a proper plan for this type of gigantic music.
Definitely. So that's an EP in the works. Coming soon to an internet near you. Sinon, where can people find you online, your music?
Most of it you can find on YouTube, par-ci par-là. Mais tu sais, SoundCloud, I am SHASH'U. My Instagram also, if you want to follow the stuff that I post.
We'll have the lower thirds. Well, the lower thirds that you're gonna make. Shout out to you for the visual work and the assets and the nice little animations and
Yeah, it's fun.
I am SHASH'U on all platforms, right?
Yeah, SHASH'U, SHASH apostrophe U, or I am SHASH'U, I am SHASH'U. You find me on IG, Twitch, Bandcamp, and SHASH'U at Bandcamp.
Twitch, which we've been going a little, last year of streaming.
Oh yeah, I
back
mean,
and forth, some streams and
so, here and there. It's totally an experience, and it's particular because it's this. I'm not gonna lie, it's a difficulty especially when you want to play tracks. You can't necessarily just play whatever tracks. I know some DJs get away with it. That chapeau à vous, c'est fine. But like whenever I try something, it's always a problem. So moi, je peux pas juste jouer des tracks qui sont déjà released. Même que moi, I can't even play my own release tracks.
that's crazy. That's
I'm the artist. It's my song, but they're flagging it. But okay, fine, I get it. You got bots, the
algorithm
bots.
doesn't know you're the real SHASH'U.
Exactly, and then when I want to dispute, they treat it like I'm waiting for results from a CLSC or something. It's like months and months and months and years and months and months and years and months.
That's special. But people can still find you. You have some VODs on there, don't you? Some breakdowns. You've done some beat breakdowns and some. Some
more in there. Some more in there. Yeah, I think they're still there. But the idea is to be able to have the proper setup. Like I need to change computers. I'm slowly just getting all the information needed to know which type of setup that I'm looking for. I build my own computers, so not that I want to brag about it. It's just that it's better for what I'm looking for the job.
It's a skill in
Achète
itself.
un Mac, bro! Achète un Mac, bro! Achète un Mac, bro!
Moi, je disais à des gens, achète-toi un PC. Mais les gens, ils veulent rien qu'on... Ils sont comme, non. Tu vois, I don't like the OS companies. I won't name them, but I don't like them. But si les programmes de son pouvaient fonctionner sur un open source OS, je serais très content. But I feel you, man. Open source, customizable, upgradable stuff you can work on yourself. I appreciate,
Exactly.
So building your own system is definitely something that I appreciate.
Avais-tu cover des tout? Il semble qu'on voulait cover aussi l'importance de... Ouais, on l'a fait. L'importance de la communion des différents clans et des tribus,
definitely.
Super important for the evolution of the culture. And not just let, like we can't let like an Instagram or a TikTok or Twitter dictate what's good or what's bad. Like we should be able to have an outlet where people can flex their skills and let people be able to talk about it, See? That's true publicity right there.
Well, with Loop Sessions, this is what we hope to be able to contribute a little to, provide a space and a platform where people can flex their skills and commune, whether it be in person for many years and now online until we can get back. But if we can, provide that little bit in a sea of algorithms and bots, then we keep pushing. And I feel with this, it's another outlet which integrates beautifully to what we've been doing, which is the beat broadcast, people making beats the day of. And speaking about this, because this will be broadcasted on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Loop Sessions. You're also providing the crate that people will sample. Do you know what the crate will provide yet? Is it a secret?
I mean,
what can people expect?
Something unique. Like I'm not gonna give them something that's too easy to sample because I feel like then I feel like there's so many ideas that can be done. I remember there was one loop session, I forgot which crate it was, but not long ago. And I downloaded the tracks and I listened to them. I'm like, damn, all the tracks are amazing. And then like I can do anything with anything. So it's like
Where do I go?
ça me tente plus. Ça me tente plus, c'est comme des fois c'est comme tout est bon, tout est tellement bon, c'est que tu trouves, on dirait qu'on trouve plus le comme let me just grab this.
Ouais, ouais, ouais.
You know? This one thing, see? So I like what I'm gonna do. It's most probably gonna be a mix of what I'm gonna have is a mix of different things. So oui, tu peux avoir un loop ici, oui, tu peux avoir un son là, but like they all fill their unique
Ouais, ouais, ouais.
attributes, you know. Instead
Nice.
of just sending, let's say, a song, but then send the stems of that song. C'est déjà là, c'est tout sur le même tempo, même si ça peut changer après. I don't know. I like really a mix.
Okay.
Vraiment un mix
So tu vas-
of.
Tu vas, curveball, left
Ouais, ouais.
field.
I mean, c'est ça, tu sais. It's not that I'm gonna put like fucking white noise. Tu sais. Yeah. Use the white noise.
That's good. On va.
Ouais.
Une belle surprise qui s'en vient.
Ça devrait être intéressant.
Encore une fois, gros merci à toi de faire partie de ce projet, autant en ce moment devant la caméra que derrière la caméra. Toujours un plaisir de travailler avec toi.
Yes. Pareillement.
Thank you. Ceci était le Loop Sessions Masterclass avec nul autre que SHASH'U. On tient à remercier le Ausgang Plaza ainsi que le Conseil des arts du Canada pour leur support. Vous allez pouvoir nous trouver sur twitch.tv/loopsessions. Suivez-nous sur les réseaux sociaux. Soyez prêts. On se voit très bientôt.
Ouais, je laisse ce beat-là.